Please be seated. Now, I should say that Paul's comment this morning about patience and suffering, that was a long gospel, so, So if I see any eyes drooping and heads nodding this morning, I'll understand it. It's not the homily. To become more aware of birds and insects, I've started learning how to draw. If you draw the bird when watching, you remember them. In a way, you develop a relationship with them. Taking a photo of the bird takes an instant. There's no relationship, no close contact with the bird. Drawing means you sit still and look at the shape of the bird. Is the bill curved or straight? What colors do you see? What plants are they in? And so forth. You look deeper into the life of the bird. Reading scripture slowly and asking questions about it is like drawing a bird. What's the history behind this writing? What do the commentators say is going on? And as you sit and listen to the word, you begin to hear what the word is saying to you. Colors spring forth, and you develop a relationship with the Spirit. If I were to draw the story of Jesus meeting the woman at the well, what would I see? A dusty Jesus who is tired. He's been walking all morning. The sun is hot and high. It's the 6th hour at noon. Jesus is hungry. The disciples have gone into the town to get food. I see a woman is at the well drawing water. That is what I would see on the face of the painting. What do I see in the painting? The woman is by herself. Why is she alone? Perhaps the other women have come out in the cool hours of the morning to socialize and make connections with each other. Why is this woman not included? The gospel notes that this woman is a Samaritan, a caste of Hebrew people who years before Jesus intermarried outside their faith. They were considered unclean to the Jews. One of my feelings about this scripture is that this woman was an outcast, an unclean woman. Where do I get this feeling from? It doesn't say she was unclean in the scripture, only that she came to the well during the middle of the day and she had 5 husbands. Does she have a big red A on her forehead? Does this make her unclean? How would you draw her? How did Jesus draw her? Susan Butterworth's sermon in the Episcopal Sermons website sees the woman as a faithful protagonist of Jesus, discussing with him directly and with wit, demanding to know about the water of life. Then she runs into town and spreads the good news about the Messiah she has just met. The Reverend Margerum in another sermon paints us as readers of Scripture with a dark shadow. We dismiss the women in Scripture as being not quite proper. For instance, Mary Magdalene in some circles was believed to be a prostitute, but this fact is not shown in Scripture. She was, however, the first person to see Jesus resurrected. Eve, as in Adam and Eve, gave the apple to Adam and brought sin into the world. So we surmise. We all know that women are temptresses and not to be trusted. Dark shadows indeed. The gospel writer uses another hook to make us question what we are seeing in this story. Last week we heard how the Pharisee Nicodemus came to Jesus in the night, in the dark, to understand Jesus. But the reading today, the Samaritan woman who had 5 husbands came to Jesus in the light at noon. John uses the light-dark motif to explain a part of Jesus. Jesus gave sight to the man born blind, darkness into light. And in the light, Jesus offers the woman living water. Wow, a new spirit, a new spirit. What colors sparkle here? John at this point leads the reader into another area of discussion. Where is the proper place to worship God? In Jerusalem or on Mount Gerizim, where the Samaritans prayed? Jesus said the worshiper does neither, but in a place of spirit and truth, which is in Jesus. Why does John do this? If John's community was at odds with the Jewish religion when he wrote this, it would make sense to keep his intimate group separate from the Jews and the Samaritans. But maybe John is doing something else here. In the theme of painting a deeper picture, he's asking the reader to respond to that old question of what is truth and who is the spirit we worship. He's asking us to believe that a place of worship doesn't matter, only how you worship and through whom you worship. You accept Jesus as the door to God, as the living water of the Spirit. Here is a prayer that's found in the New Zealand prayer book. Eternal Spirit, living God, in whom we live and move and have our being. All that we are, have been, and shall be is known to you. To the very secret of our hearts and all that rises to trouble us. Living flame, burn into us, cleansing wind, blow through us, fountain of water, well up within us, that we may love and praise in deed and in truth. As we try to paint the colors we see in Scripture, remember that the Spirit is painting us. Flaming colors, moving wind, and uprising water. Your Spirit is painting us in colors, wind, soft and soothing colors. What is the color of your love of God?